an average through at least the first half of next week.
All right, thanks so much, Justin. Hey, there are a few movies coming out early for Valentine's weekend, so film critic Josh Bell is here for the Bell Breakdown a day early. Oh, thank goodness the bell was cued. I didn't know if it would know.
Yeah, that's true. You never know about that.
All right, we've got two movies coming out, not Valentine related, really, right? There's not a lot of love going on?
No, not, well, actually, there is some love.
Okay.
But they're not specifically romantic films.
Got it. Sci-fi.
Because, yeah, sci-fi and horror stuff, but we got Valentine's Day and then President's Day, so it's a long weekend.
That's true.
Movies out a bit early if people are heading out to theaters this weekend.
Okay, and the first one we want to talk about is Battle Angel?
Alita, Battle Angel, yes, which is sort of a passion project, I guess you could say, for James Cameron, who actually did not direct this movie, but has been developing it for 10, 15 years. It's based on a Japanese comic book series that he was a big fan of, and it's finally coming to the screen, actually directed by Robert Rodriguez, although Cameron is a producer and co-wrote the screenplay, and it is a futuristic sci-fi action-adventure thing with Rosa Salazar plays the title character, Alita, who is a cyborg who has discovered, this is a future world, and she's discovered by a scientist played by Christoph Waltz, and he kind of nurses her back to health, and she has to fight bad guys and discover her past and enter in this weird kind of future sport thing that reminds me of Rollerball, if people have ever seen that movie with James Caan from the 70s, which was also remade, I think, with LL Cool J a while back. But this movie, I have not read the source material, and obviously James Cameron had a lot of interest in it, and it is acclaimed and popular, but whatever changes and adaptations they've made to turn this into a modern American sci-fi blockbuster, it just feels like it's cobbled together from a lot of very familiar kind of young adult sci-fi elements. The special effects, they spent a lot of money on this movie, and some of the special effects are really impressive. You can see in the clips, Alita herself has these kind of anime-style big eyes.
Well, yeah, she kind of looks half fake, half real. Like, I can't really pinpoint it.
And it's very well done and extremely distracting.
Okay.
All I can think about looking at those eyes is, wow, they did such a good job of this. And it really takes away, I think, from the emotion of the performance. There is a love story here, which is just bland and cliched and kind of takes over the plot as the movie goes along. It's some great, wonderfully rendered renditions of stuff that looks incredibly silly.
She looks a little like my Bitmoji.
Yes, she does. And it's hard to invest in her as a character. And then after 2 hours, it ends on a cliffhanger.
Okay. All right, we got to talk. How much time do we still have? We have sometimes still. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, Happy Death Day 2. You've been looking forward to this one.
I have been. The original Happy Death Day from 2017 was just a fun, silly horror movie about this character who's kind of a spoiled sorority girl played by Jessica Roth, who ends up having to repeat the same day over and over again, kind of like Groundhog Day, but she gets killed each time by this masked killer in a creepy baby mask and ends up waking back up. And so now we've got Happy Death Day to you. And she, through this kind of convoluted sci-fi explanation, ends up repeating the day over and over again, but kind of in an alternate universe. This movie is not scary, and it really takes a lot of the horror elements out of it and turns it into this more sci-fi thing, but it still has a great performance from Jessica Roth. It's funny, it's clever in the way there's some callbacks. If you like the first movie, I think you will enjoy this one too. It's not quite as good, but for a movie that was a surprise hit and never expected a sequel, it's actually a pretty worthy follow-up.
Okay, because it kind of looks like that kind of teenish, like, I don't know, I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever, but I mean, you're saying it's not that scary.
It's really not scary. I mean, it's not even really meant to be scary. Like, the killer is there, but he's very much in the background. It's more about figuring out the mechanics of this time loop and how to get her back to her correct dimension, silly stuff like that. But it is self-aware and has some of that meta humor like the Scream movies and that sort of thing. But yeah, don't expect, like, jumping in your seat or anything.
All right, we won't. Josh, thanks so much for your breakdown. Next week, we're going to talk Oscars.
Yeah,
look forward to getting your take on that, and then also talk about new movies coming out. So
sounds good.
That was the Bell Breakdown for this Thursday, special Valentine's Day edition. We'll be back after this.